Viktor Gyokeres, is he coming to Manchester United or is he going to go to Arsenal or stay at Sporting? That's the question. Welcome back to Passionate Take. If you watch my show, you know I like to talk about sports, specifically European football. Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest club in the world, did not have a great year last year. But as I mentioned previously, Manchester United has the right manager in place, Ruben Amorim. He is the manager and the individual that's going to lead Man United back to its glory days. But as we've seen with Manchester United in their half season with Amorim in charge, there has been ups and downs. The team played in the Europa League final, but they ultimately lost to Tottenham. And now, this transfer window, they need to bring in scoring ability. They need to bring in strikers. They need to bring in new forwards. And one of the forwards they have brought in is Matheus Cunha. He's already with the club. And now, one of the strikers that they're looking to bring in is Viktor Gyokeres. Now, if you don't know who Viktor Gyokeres is, he's a Sweden international striker. He also played for Sporting. I believe last year he scored 63 goals. So in 102 appearances, he has scored 97 goals for Sporting. And Gyokeres, being 27 years of age, is the right striker for Manchester United to bring in. Gyokeres also says he wants to come to a big club, a club like Manchester United. His familiarity with Ruben Amorim make this the perfect match for Gyokeres to come play at Old Trafford. However, now there's reports that have come out. The president of Sporting said they are not going to let Gyokeres go to a club, a big club, for any less than 70 to 75 million euros. Now you will say that is a lot of money for Gyokeres. But initially, there's a 100 million euros release clause. But since Gyokeres, the last 2 years, specifically last year, when he decided to stay at the club rather than take his talent to a big club in the Premier League or in another big league, like the Spanish League or the Bundesliga, he decided to stay Sporting. And there was a gentleman's agreement between Gyokeres and the board directors, the president of Sporting, that they would let him go for 60 million euros. Now, the Sporting president is saying that is not true. While they understand the ebb and flow, and they did have a conversation that they weren't going to seek $100 million for 100 million euros for him to go to another club, they weren't going to settle for less, specifically in the range of 60 million euros. To me, this is back and forth between the agent and the Sporting president, because clearly Gyokeres want to go and take his talent to a big-time club in Europe. He has dominated Portugal football, playing in the Portugal League. Now he want to go to the English Premier League. And Manchester United, specifically Ruben Amorim, when he accepted the job of Manchester United, right away people were asking him specifically, are you going to bring certain players from Sporting? And that is to be expected because he was their manager. They had success with him. They also defeated Manchester City in the Champions League. And one of the names that was floated around was Viktor Gyokeres. For obvious reason, he's a premier goal scorer. And this is something that Manchester United has been lacking, even though they have Jadon Sancho, Anthony, Marcus Rashford. Those players need to be on their way out. Marcus Rashford, there's too much off the field issues with him. While he can't perform on the pitch, there's just too much baggage off the field. And I agree with Ruben Amorim that he cannot babysit Marcus Rashford. Therefore, they are not going to give him away, but if a club come in with a reasonable amount that's willing to pay for Rashford, they need to offload him and send him on his way. Anthony, way overpaid. This was a player that Erik ten Hag was familiar with him during the days at Ajax and wanted him bring. We'll go down in history for Manchester United, one of the most overrated, overplayed player. And Anthony, what are different clubs in Europe that won his service? Manchester United need to offload his contract, Jadon Sancho, another player. So they need to bring in a new striker. They got Cunha. We'll see what happened with the situation with Mbumbo. But right now, Viktor Gyokeres is the player that Manchester United really need to target and get him to Old Trafford. Now I know legend and one of the players in the 90s that's really against bringing Gyokeres to the Manchester United, that's Rio Ferdinand. He is not excited about Gyokeres, but I could not disagree with Rio Ferdinand more here. The things that he contributed to the club, winning the league, winning the Champions League, winning the FA Cup, but he is wrong on Gyokeres. Yes, the Portugal League is not a Premier League. It's not. There's going to be stiffer competition. But if you really think about it, is there any league in the world that is like the English Premier League? No, there's not. The English Premier League is the cream of the crop, the best of the best. Now, granted, there will be sprinkled players that play in the Bundesliga, League One, Serie A that are great, and La Liga. But there's nothing like the English Premier League. However, Viktor Gyokeres has the physical capability, scoring goals, and he fits perfectly in with the Ruben Amorim system that he want to run a 3-4-3. Ruben Amorim is not going to deviate from the system. He's not going to put four in the back. So if you want to run a 3-4-3, you're going to need to have a strong number 9, and that's where Gyokeres come in. If other people that are watching my show that are Man United fans, and they say we should go after another striker, or we maybe get a striker in from the League One, right, from PSG, I disagree. They need to sit down and really target and come up with the funds. Start off by offloading Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony, and Jadon Sancho to bring in Viktor Gyokeres, because he is the player that they need. To me, there's no reason, specifically next year, since they don't have European football, based on where they finish in the league, and weren't able to win the Europa League. There's no reason why this team can't finish top 4, but he must be able to get his players in here. When I say he, I mean Ruben Amorim, and have a full preseason with them and extra training session, so he can get all these players acclimated, playing the system that he wants. What he wants is to be able to get the blueprint that he built at Sporting and implement that at Manchester United. And Ruben Amorim, like I said, there's people gone back and forth. Is he the right manager? To me, he is the right manager. If you watch these games closely and with the limited amount of practice that they had, put the results aside for a second. If he gets the right player in here and a player that he want to run his system, there's no reason to think that Manchester United won't ascend in the table and finish top 4. Like I said, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure to smash the subscribe button. But Viktor Gyokeres, the team needs to do everything, and the board at Manchester United, Omar, Berrada, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, need to do what they can and come up with the funding to get Gyokeres to Old Trafford, because like I said, they cannot afford for Gyokeres to go to a rival team like Arsenal. I know Juventus is also interested in his service. Get Mbumbo from Brentford, but after that, they need to target and get Gyokeres to Old Trafford. Then you have a front line with Cunha, with Mbumbo, and also Gyokeres. Once you have those three playing the front, you really solidify in the midfield, of course. You have Ugarte and also Bruno Fernandes. So this team can start putting the right pieces in place, and that's when Ruben Amorim can really, and you will see his offense and the structure of his team start to come to fruition, and the team will start winning not just games in Europe, but games in the Premier League, games that will ensure them to finish top 4 and ultimately in a couple seasons finish first in the Premier League. But I want to hear your thoughts on this. Are you like other people and you really believe that there are other strikers that Manchester United should target, or do they need to put in the funding, even though the sporting president now has gone back on his word and he is seeking in the range of 75, possibly 75 to 80 million euros for Viktor Gyokeres. But even if that was the case, as I said on my show, this is something the club need to make sure it happens, because I believe that once they get the right striker, the right number 9 in here, the team will start having more success. And before I leave the show, I just want to say this. I know Rasmus Højlund is still young, but he is not the right player. What they need to do this upcoming season, if there's a team like Inter Milan, Napoli that want to bring Rasmus Højlund in on a loan, they should absolutely loan him out. I know what he says, that he has a contract with Manchester United. He won't fulfill that contract. But if I'm Ruben Amorim, I'm saying, great, but you're not the striker that I'm looking for. I would look to loan out to another club and get another striker in here, and that striker is Viktor Gyokeres from Sporting. Thank you for staying all the way to the end of the show. I really appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. Again, make sure you tell your family, your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones, watch Passionate Take. You want the best take in European football, watch Passionate Take. Again, I will come on with breaking news as this happened, but this transfer window, let's see what Manchester United are going to do. They are not done yet, but will they be able to secure the signature of one, Viktor Gyokeres? And like I said, there's breaking news. I'll come on and share it with you. Again, thank you for watching my show. I'll see you next time.